So yeah, after Greco escaped the metro station, left the lone woman basically there with all the passerbys, some of them taking care, most of them just watching in horror. And yeah, you went home. You took a bus to get to your car, and you drove home. After you've driven home, what happens with your life? Does he proceed like normal? Does he try to just ignore everything until something hits him again? Or what's the plan for Greco?
So, after that whole incident, I think I try to have a quiet day at home and just recuperate and probably drink a lot, chain smoke cigarettes. My wife probably comes home and I immediately start an argument out of nothing. Things blow up and I tell her that I cheated on her multiple times and that I don't love her anymore. She probably just tells me to leave, and I do, and I don't talk to her for a while. I go probably to a friend's or cousin's house, stay there, and after a couple days, and after changing my address, I received divorce papers, and I signed them. I'm going to work this whole time as well, and
Alright.
I think the first day I go back, and I see Evie Red Crow's body, I get sick, and I have to leave, and I go outside and feel like I want to vomit, but I can't, and I don't really have anyone else left to turn to, so I just start going back to see that escort again, and kind of realizing that it's not the same when it's not someone you really love, and it's not fulfilling at all. I think I'd never go back. I'd continue going to work as normal. Try and not lose my professional positions. Just try and forget about everything as much as I can.
Which is not easy, because it's the second day at work. Yesterday you saw the body of Evie again. And as you come into the office today, you go into your office, and there is a man already standing in front of it. He has a winter coat tucked under his left arm, and he wears a white official looking, like he looks official. He wears a suit. He has like a FBI badge on a chain around his neck. He seems to be waiting. He looks at you, nods, and says, "Dr. Greco, I assume."
Yes, and who am I speaking to?
My name is Agent Luke. I have a few questions.
Hello, Agent Luke. Why don't you come into my office?
After you.
I unlock the door and enter with him. Go sit down behind my desk. So, what could I help you with?
He doesn't sit down, he just places his coat over the chair. Well, as I said, I have a few questions.
Is this an investigation?
Let's say it's something that I'm concerned about. Two of my agents, I haven't received any communications from them in the last 3 days, which is highly unusual, and just wanted to ask what you can tell me about all of this.
Agents from the FBI.
LANDON, Lily. Yes, both of them.
I saw them. They're, well, I haven't seen them for a few days.
He nods. Well, Dr. Greco, I'm gonna be frank with you. All of this, the task force you've been drafted into, the two agents that I somehow can't reach anymore, I'm the one supervising all of this. All of this little mission about the body you found. The body was weirdly resurrecting, as it seems. I know there's some shit going on. I'm not here on official business, as you can guess. I'm not here to fucking pull you out in handcuffs for anything. I just want to know what happened.
So you're the one who put me through all this shit, huh?
He doesn't say anything. He seems calm, collected, just waiting for an answer, basically.
You want to know where they are? Huh?
I do.
You go down into the old subway tunnels and maybe you'll find what's left of them. But that thing that I saw, I was lucky to get away from it. They weren't. Lily and Landon, they're dead. If you haven't heard from them, they're dead.
Yeah, I thought so. It's not like what we do here is completely without any Any harm, any danger?
So that's it. They're just expendable.
He shakes his head. No, none of them. No life of any American ever is expendable. But sometimes, when it warrants it, you just throw yourself into it, as they did.
Well, whatever the true purpose of this mission that you sent me and your team of expendables on, it's done.
He nods again. You see he lifts up his head as he's staring, not really at you, but maybe at the wall behind you, or he's staring through you. You know, it's never good to lose people, obviously. I don't fucking have to tell you. You're your last step before they get buried. I don't have to tell you how fucking bad it is. I don't want to lose agents of mine. They're not expendable. They're agents working for me, and I don't want to lose them. But sometimes, if we meet shit, if we meet any weird fucking shit, and I'm pretty sure you did, and I will need to know what you met down there. Sometimes you just can't get away with everything intact, you know what I mean? And if those two gave their life to protect the many lives of many more, and it's a tragedy, but they did what they can do best: stop those fucking things. So what exactly did you see down there?
Why do you need to know?
Have you seen it die? Thought so. So if that, whatever it is, whatever you saw, if that fucking thing, if that fucking man, whatever, I have no idea what's down there. But if what is down there is still alive, I need to send in, not just one, I need to send in people that are prepared to take out whatever it takes. So I need to know what the fuck is down there.
It was a guy. He ran at us with a crowbar, bruised my collarbone pretty bad, but he came at us completely mad. Then he just started transforming, this fat spilling out of his body and mouths coming out of his fucking hands. I don't know what the fuck it was, but
He nods.
I just remember hearing Landon screaming to death. I still hear it.
Never gets easier. Would love to say it does, but it never does.
I'm not sure what you're gonna find if you go down there, but I hope that thing doesn't fucking come back, is all I could say. We saved... I saved one person. I hope so. I haven't checked on her.
If,
Brought her up to the nearest subway I could, and I ran like hell.
she's alive. She has been checked into a hospital.
I don't think there's anything wrong with those girls. I don't think it was their fault.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, but if, you're the medical expert, at least I'm gonna trust that. So, this dude down there, you have a name for me?
Robert Welchsey. We went into his apartment. You might have seen some reports of the apartment burning down, and that was his. It was a fucking nightmare in there. I don't want to begin to describe what we saw. It smelled like fucking death in there.
You don't have to. If it's burned down, it's been dealt with.
I'm glad that it's been erased from this fucking earth. That's all I could say.
He takes a longer break, then takes a deep breath, looks at you again, and then says, if both of them are dead, we're gonna need some help. You've seen what shit lies beyond the surface.
I'm not sure how much help I could be. I was barely any help shooting the damn thing. It didn't do anything. It was the first time I ever shot anything in my life. I never even held a gun before this.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. Don't worry about it. At least not all the time. He actually chuckles a little bit to himself. No, we also need people of your expertise. Someone who can dispose of a body. You've got one there in your cold room, and I think we do... Well, we maybe need to get out the evidence. We don't need everyone to know what lies beyond the surface. We don't need everyone to follow it. We don't need anyone to see it. You understand?
I don't think anyone wants to see that.
Good.
But if the bodies are sent here, I can't make them disappear without making it obvious. The most I could do was talk the families into cremation. But that wouldn't happen here. Those happen off-site.
That's alright. But sometimes, maybe you need to change your tag a little bit. Make it maybe look like she didn't die and resurrect a few times, you know what I mean? Bit like that.
As the one in charge of this file on Evie Red Crow, I could leave some things out, if that helps.
It does.
So what next?
Well, as I said, I'm gonna look for LANDON, I'm gonna look for Lily. If they're dead, at least giving them a burial, close casket, somewhere where maybe not everyone cares, notices, whatever. And then he pulls out a little flip phone. I might need some assistance later. We, the organization, might need some assistance later. Would you be willing to help us out a little bit? Changing some tags, maybe looking at some wounds, stuff like that. Stuff in your expertise.
If it means stopping sick motherfuckers like that, then yeah.
It absolutely does. T hands you the phone.
I take it and stow it in my pocket.
And for the sake of secrecy, if you want to answer the phone, don't answer it with Dr. Greco. Pick out a name, preferably one that starts with an L.
Light.
Alright then. He takes his coat, puts it on, reaches out a hand.
I shake it, and as I let go, I ask, when are you sending your team down?
As soon as possible.
Let me go with them.
He's thinking about it. Like, you see he stops. He didn't even think about this question before.
There was other paths in those tunnels. They didn't look right. There's something else down there. Not what we were looking for. I don't want them to get hurt. I don't need more people dying on my account.
He nods. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can requisition a hostage rescue team. I will give you a call. If there's so many tunnels, it's better if you close the way.
Alright, I'll be waiting.
You can expect a call, Agent Light. Until then. The next day, the burner phone rings. Agent Luke basically invites you. You have 2 hours to get to Central Park, where you'll meet them and descend back into tunnels from where you first started. Because I think that's probably the better way. Because when you were running out in the other direction, you were pumped full of adrenaline.
Yeah, that's probably the better way. I am gonna bring boots this time, because I'm sure my nice shoes got all fucked up.
You are now standing in Central Park. The surrounding area has been evacuated. There's police tape. There's a so-called active crime scene. Agent Luke is there, you are there, and so are 6 members of the hostage rescue team. They are completely decked out. They have reinforced Kevlar vests. They wear helmets. They're fully decked out. 4 of them go in there with like an MP5, and 2 of them have an AR platform. You start leading them the first way you got in. And first you take a walk through those little maintenance tunnels, through those little old subway tunnels, until you arrive at the carved out ones. And you recognize the ones you need to go through. The hostage rescue team doesn't really show any signs of them being like nervous or anything. They stay in formation, they stay alert. But you notice that Agent Luke's been eyeing those marks at the scratch tunnels.
Those were man-made, I can tell you that. You would need some powerful claws, maybe like a cave sloth or something went through here.
Well, let's keep this talk down a little bit. He says a bit quieter. Not everyone here knows. They're just here because they know there's some shit going on and they probably need to rescue some people to take them out. But I can reckon what built those tunnels.
You know something?
There are some creatures down here. I've never seen one. I've heard the stories. As far as I know, most of them should pose no threat.
Well, I could say that whatever we were dealing with probably wasn't one of them. Best to leave it alone, I guess.
You're right. Let's get moving.
All right.
Yeah, you lead them until you leave the tunnels for the old subway line again. And you see the location after another 10 minutes of walking. You see the location where it all happened. You see the flat lamp, the flat light, whatever. You see it's still off. And you see the scene where all of it took place. You see the table where you found Antonia. You see there are some marks here. The first thing you notice is it stinks. It reeks. It's bad. And as the flashlights from the guns start like swiveling through the tunnel, you don't see any bodies. What you do see is on the ground this yellow substance, this yellow waxy substance, which smells horrible as you realize this is probably now absolutely putrid fat, the thing that protected Wellesley when he was shot. And it seems that he melted all over the floor. However, you don't see Landon, you don't see Lily. You see a lot of blood on the ground. And then you hear one of the rescue team people shout, "Hey, we've got a body behind this door." And Luke looks up and the HRT just shakes his head. So they start securing the place. The only body that's found is behind this iron door to your right, and it is the body of Marissa Kurt. And as you see her being dragged out, give me another send roll.
For violence or helplessness?
Helplessness.
Ooh.
Yeah. Haven't had a lot of those. All right.
Aren't you one away from your breaking point?
I am.
Oh shit!
I passed.
You don't lose anything.
Nice.
Yeah, you stand there, you see the body being dragged out, but you're dissociating. You see the body, but yeah, she's probably already dead when you were down here. You haven't heard anything when you were down here from her.
I just let out a sigh. Can't save them all. I already know that.
You see the HRT guys, 2 of them are securing the body. The other 4 are looking around until one of them points out there is a blood trail of someone crawling or being dragged. It's hard to say.
I think I'd be able to tell.
Yeah, how high would you is your forensics?
72.
Easily. Yeah, someone was being dragged. And it doesn't start from the point where you know Landon was lying, because the point where you know Landon was lying, there's just so much fucking blood. And also with your forensics, you can actually give me a roll for that.
I pass.
So there are burn marks, obviously. There is fat. But you see there are traces of someone probably getting the melted fat off Landon. It looks like it has been pushed to the side, and there is almost an outline of a body, at least a lower body, and there's so much blood around. You get the feeling that it almost looks like he was butchered after he died at this exact point. But the longer you look at it, it's not like he was butchered, it's more like someone was ripping parts off of the body itself.
I try not to think about it too much.
Yeah, but there's no trail leaving this. So there's the option going through your head, someone took the body apart, put it in a plastic bag or something, and then took it off, or just had it vanished.
There's no bones.
Yes, nothing, just the blood.
If there was a fire, would it be hot enough to burn the bones down, especially if there was 3 bodies? I go over to Agent Luke. It looks like it was a fire. From what I remember, that thing was on top of Landon, and judging by the amount of putrid fat everywhere, I imagine it's dead. But there's no bones, and it looks like someone was dragged out of here. With the amount of blood in the position, I'd probably say it was Lily. But I don't know why they take the bodies. I don't really want to say, but it looks like Landon was torn apart post-mortem.
Luke's standing there, he looks like he's thinking, then again he slowly nods. What I've heard about those things, those beings that dug those tunnels, they like to eat the remains. And then he gives you a blank stare.
I nod. I look down, sad, because I thought that the drag bloodstains maybe it indicated that Lily might be alive, but I can rest those thoughts. All right, I think that covers it then, right? Got what we came for?
We got what we came for. Yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna have those guys clean up, and with all of this around, yeah, I think you're right. Whatever it was, whatever Wellesley turned into, that's over.
I go over to check the woman.
Mm-hmm.
This was, you said Marissa?
Yes.
I tried to determine cause of death. I could only assume starvation.
Yeah, not starvation exactly. She's completely dehydrated. So it's hard to say, but time of death could be early morning yesterday.
Does it look like she's decomposing?
No, she's not at the point yet. But it looks like, you realize that there's no glow to the skin. It has been fallen in just this tiny amount. Yeah, she's in the process of starting to decompose.
I look at the rest of her body.
Do you want to do you want to try to do a field autopsy to see how often she died, or do you just want to
I
do
need to
a
see
rough?
how often this woman died.
With her, it's yeah, you know what? Give me no, you don't have to roll. You take your time. You are not in a hurry. You take your time. You start counting scars that should be lethal, and you count with the dehydration. You count 9 lethal wounds. You think she died 9 times. The dehydration probably was the last straw.
I just slammed my fist into the fucking floor. God damn it.
Yeah, we see as the last scene, we see Greco sitting at the corpse of Marissa, examining all of the wounds, talking with Luke, and the camera goes out, zooms back out again until we have this bird's eye perspective of Central Park, and then it rotates.
To start, a name that hadn't cropped up before, but still had a infinite amount of value to the man who was Kevin Rivers. Ben Taylor sits at home in Poughkeepsie, waiting for Kevin to come home. They'd met, almost 10 years ago, and had lived together since. Kevin had been something that Ben had been missing for his entire life. A man who understood him as he was and who made no promises but also made no demands. Someone who could love him regardless of what the rest of the world thought. And Kevin had a history. He had a lot of past, only a little present, and it was very obvious not that much of a future. But even with his little studio, the so-called toy box, Ben was happy to see him doing something that made him happy, and doing something that allowed people like them to flourish in a world that would see them crushed. And so when Kevin said that he was going back to New York, a place that he had said he would never go back again, that he could not go back to again, of course he had been worried, but he had also held out hope against hope that perhaps this was putting a chapter behind him, simply closing the door on a part of his history that he could not keep buried, putting rest to all those skeletons that lay in his closet. So when he was called by the New York Police Department saying that Kevin had committed suicide in New York, well, what was he supposed to think? He, of course, went down immediately, and he took Virginia with him. She was a daughter, it would be wrong to say. Certainly not a daughter, but the closest one could get without being kin. And when they went down to the Central Coroner in New York City, it was told that Kevin had jumped in front of a train, that there was hardly anything left to identify him by, and that it would certainly not be worthwhile to view the body, as much as there was one. What could they possibly say? But that wasn't the end. It couldn't be the end. Ben knew that something was not right. He asked around. Every club, every seedy bar, every hole-in-the-wall place where any friend of Dorothy could find refuge about what happened to Lily over the course of those days in New York. Unfortunately, the word was not good. He had gone to a high society event, models, and that world. A world which he was all too familiar with. He'd gotten in a fight there, a bad one. Had been reminded about how much he was despised. After that, very little word beyond apparently a one-night stay in Newark. Why hadn't he come home then? Why hadn't he called then? Ben could never know. All that was left to do was take a small urn up north, Poughkeepsie, to rest on a lonely mantelpiece, to seal the life of a man who had lived and died so often in the shadows. And they could only hope that wherever he was now, that he was finally at peace and could exist in a way that nobody could judge him for.
It would be a lie to say that Landon died doing what he loved. Being recruited into Delta Green revealed more about himself than he had ever been willing to admit, how far he had been willing to go against the nature of his oath as a federal law enforcement officer. But he died making sure that a seemingly better man in Dr. Declan Greco and an innocent woman lived. He thought of his wife Misha and his son Owen in his final moments, and very, very briefly at the end, as well as his parents, Darius and Libby. Misha and Owen Beasley found out later that night, on January 27, 2004, that her husband had died in the line of duty trying to rescue a woman who had been trafficked. When Misha pressed for more details, she was stonewalled, which left her feeling unsatisfied. Owen, who was 14, was not told to go to his room. He was old enough to understand the truth. He would be growing up without a father, sadly, like many African American youths in the United States. This fact hit harder because Owen knew his dad loved him and his mom. Tyrone was always giving Owen advice, even when he may not have wanted to hear it on the surface, but Owen would always digest it later. He knew this because Tyrone would often draw distinctions at length between what was actually true and what was covered by the media. FBI statistics showed that white men committed more crimes than black men to begin with, and there was something to be said for kids growing up without their dads, but Tyrone always told Owen that it's what you choose to do with the anger and sorrow and joy you feel that determines your path. Even in the face of a system stacked against them, Tyrone would say, we have to work within that system to make a better outcome for ourselves. Owen took this past conversation to heart, and it was heavy on his mind for many years to come while in high school. His father had always wanted him to draw his own conclusions about the truth, but always emphasized that evil would always exist, no matter how overt or subtle in its machinations. Owen wanted to honor his father and decided that when he graduated high school in 2008, he would study criminal justice and follow in his father's footsteps. Misha Owens, for her part, knew that her husband Tyrone was a complex man that always wanted to do the right thing for her and her son and make a difference in the world. It's always a complex choice to become a law enforcement officer, but he wanted to follow in the footsteps of his father before him, so she didn't mind. Helping victims of sex trafficking made her realize even more, years after getting married, that she had picked the right man. She kept her pain hidden well when Tyrone was alive, always worried he may not come back home, despite the FBI seemingly being a safer job than the NYPD. But she knew there was a pain in him when his partner James died, and he never really talked about it, and she never really asked. She rationalized that he would talk when he was ready, because that's how he was. Misha would never remarry, but she was comforted with the knowledge that she had Tyrone's parents in her life, her own parents, and James Baldwin's wife and children, who understood the kind of grief she was going through. Losing a child before their time is never easy for parents. Libby Beasley was beside herself, looking to her husband Darius to lean on. Darius, for his part, kept his emotions locked away tight, a skill he had learned growing up on the streets of Buffalo and New York City as a beat cop in the late 60s, 70s, and 80s, facing racism, the crack epidemic, and all manner of unsavory characters in his time. The fact that Tyrone, his only son, grew up to become a full FBI agent made him so proud that he could have burst at the seams of joy, and always with a grin would tell anyone who would listen that his son was Special Agent Tyrone Beasley with the FBI. There was another reason for his locked-away emotions in recent years, however. What Darius never told Tyrone was that he would occasionally get contacted by a government group that dabbled with strange phenomenon that needed to be kept hidden from the wider public. They had contacted him in the 80s in New York City as a set of extra eyes and ears on the ground for weird events. Eventually, when he retired, Darius never heard from those strange men in black again. Darius knew that when Tyrone's partner died, and the way that his son danced around the details as much as he tried to hide it on his face, that something strange had happened. He knew the look because Darius was once in Tyrone's position. He noticed the changes in his son, but could never bring himself to just ask Tyrone or just out and out tell him that he knew about the group. Darius would have been shocked to learn that his son was in fact one of those men who had originally kept tabs on him in a way. And so, in his own private moments, Darius Beasley sobbed buckets for Tyrone, knowing that evil had taken him, but knowing he died for the right reason. Or is it? Who's to say the cycle won't continue to propagate through the Beasley line? Was what Landon did really the right thing? He never broke the law, but he bent it. Was he spared from a crueler fate of being alive? Was he better off dead? The cycle of pain, in this case, would have endured no matter what. So did his choice even matter in the end? Do any of L-Cell's choices matter in a vast universe of indifference? These are the things we try not to think about. In the end, we make our choices, and none of them are good nor bad. They just are.
The last scene is in the Central Park. Together with Agent Luke, the hostage rescue team, Dr. Greco emerges from the tunnels again. And we see all of this from the distance. On a little snowed-in hill, it has since stopped snowing, but it's cold enough for the snow to stay. 5 black cats are sitting, and they're watching. And as if they try to figure out who will do it, one of them gets out of the circle, leaving tiny indentations in the snow in the form of a footprint, of a paw print, and starts to follow. First from a distance, but he gets ever closer to Dr. Greco. As Dr. Greco unnoticed that he's being followed, leaves through a side entrance to Central Park, while one of the black cats strolls behind him.
CARRADINE here.
It's Luke. I have an update on Operation Cat's Grace.
How'd it go?
Successful, but Lily and Landon were KIA.
Fuck. We just got Landon, and Lily's also dead?
We weren't able to find their bodies, but yes, both died in the field. The friendly was recruited to L-Cell. Dr. Greco is now Agent Light.
So, what happened? Did anything leak to the public?
Only loose end is that one of the victims, Antonia something, is currently being admitted to a nut house. We're tied to it, so we can keep tabs and take more lethal measures if necessary. She was blinded, so I'm not too concerned. Crazed zealot by the name of Robert Wellesley was dispatched. Turned into some bloated behemoth. I assume due to the tunnels they found themselves in, the tea and the rest of the dead were consumed by ghouls. All seem to have been sufficiently explained away with a fake death certificate and a random corpse M-cell threw in front of a subway train. I'll get the full debrief to you in a few hours.
I look forward to seeing it. Sounds quite involved. Got anyone set to replace the fallen L-Cell members?
No, not exactly. Although there is this security guard.